This is the Full Frame Podcast with Mark and Ben. Today we're talking about street photography.
Yeah, well, that'll be part of it.
It's going to be an overarching theme of this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Because the books we've selected are from street photographers. And I think let's talk about the things we've learned from street photography, because we've done a lot of street photography, I think, this year so far. Yeah. So it'd be a good thing to talk about. Yeah,
and then we'll do the usual photos of the month.
Yeah, mine are street photographs.
Yeah, so are mine, yeah, so that ties in
nicely. Both our books are street photographers' books.
Yeah, but from different angles, which I think will make an interesting conversation. And some camera news for me that I can talk about.
Nice.
Well, not loads of news. Still waiting to hear.
Should we start with that?
Sure.
Let's get that out of the way. Let's because I know you're stressed about it. I know you're worried.
Well, I feel better about it now. So you might have seen in the last episode, the scavenger hunt. Sorry, not the last episode, just the last video, where loads of my photos were out of focus, and I was literally like losing my mind, thinking, how have I managed this? It's it's literally the best autofocus film camera that was made. Like, the reason I got it is because the autofocus is good, and I kind of was just fed up with manual focusing on the FE and stuff. So I spent the next few days basically just sat there focusing at a wall.
48 hours
trying to figure out, is it me or the camera? I was pretty convinced it was a problem with the camera. Yeah. And in the end, what solidified it was I've got photos actually. So what I did was I took my D850, which is a digital Nikon, which I know has good focus because you can just take a picture and check it straight away. I took the lens that I normally use on the f6, put it on that, put the camera at a certain distance, put a subject at a certain distance, focused, took a photo of the lens. It was kind of obviously the scale on a lens is not super, granular. So that's just going to be just under 2 meters, right? So I went and did the exact same thing. So subject in the same place, camera in the exact same spot, and focused on the same thing, obviously. And it's closer to 1.5, which means the camera is focusing forward. So if it was to focus on your face now, it actually is probably the focal plane. What's in focus probably would be the microphone or something. And after I was looking through all of the franchise show, the scavenger hunt photos, it was people's hands were in focus that were right in front of them, or the floor. If it was a wider shot, you could see a bit of the floor was in focus and things like that. So I was shooting 50mm 1.4, right? So your depth of field is really small. You can have your eye in focus and your nose be out. So the whole effect of it being out of focus was just heightened. So when I focused on someone's face, the focus would be here.
Yeah.
So they'd be completely blurred. They would just be bokeh, basically. So but I was going mental, thinking it was me, and I was just shit. But that really solidified it. It felt actually like a scientific test, to it confirmed that the camera was front focusing, and it actually looked like it. So at that distance, it looked roughly based on the lens scale. So I think further distances it got worse, and then closer distances it was closer. So and obviously if you shoot wide open, it's really bad, because obviously at a point say f8, your depth of field might be 30 centimeters.
So you might be all right.
So you'd get it in focus at f8.
But obviously you want it to work 100% all the time.
Exactly. I want to be able to shoot f1.4 in dark conditions, which is what I did at the franchise show. That's why I used that lens. So
So what's happened now then? Has it been resolved?
Well, and maybe, hopefully, they gave me some suggestions on what I could try to fix it myself, just cleaning contacts and things, the lens you know, how the lens communicates with the camera and things like that. And yeah, none of that worked. Yeah, so I sent it out the other day. It got there like on Monday or something. So I'm still waiting. It's annoying. I wish I'd got it today. I'm still waiting for an estimate, like a repair estimate.
So is that probably a few weeks until you get it back?
Yeah, it could be. I really don't know. Like, because I think if it's just like, it could just be like a calibration, which would be part of like a normal service, I'd imagine.
Yeah. And
so that might be like routine, pretty quick. It will take a while if it needs a part, I'd imagine, which is that will suck. But like, it's good to know that I'm not going mental, and it's gonna be fixed either way.
Yeah.
I've just got to wait for it. And I was talking to the sellers on eBay, and they kind of seemed like they were up for giving me a bit of money.
Okay.
If, you know, I need to let them know how much the repair is going to be. I actually had that with the FE. I don't know if you remember. You know, when the FE broke, I messaged the sellers on eBay, and they paid the repair fee. They didn't even want proof. No. I just said this is how much it is, and they refunded it partially. Good. So yeah, that's cool. Pretty much the story of the F6 now. You have to wait until the next podcast probably to see what happens with it. Yeah, anticipation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Should we talk about street photography?
Yeah, can do.
What is street photography, Ben? Would you say that it is photography on the street?
Yeah, kind of comes under the like documentary photographer kind of fame, doesn't it?
I think so.
And I think like a lot of street photographers don't like being called street photographers. They like to be documentary photographers, which I think is good.
Would you say you're a street photographer?
I don't know. I like to do all aspects of photography, really.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like it is good to know what aspects you're good at, but I just would hate to only be able to shoot one thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we shoot a variety of different things, I think.
Yeah, well, it's like I went out in the forest the other day, and I would hate to go there and be like, oh, I can't shoot here because I'm a street photographer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm not doing that. So
it's just below me.
Yeah. But I suppose the area where I push myself to be better is in street photography.
Yeah, probably. I think it's probably for me, one of the most interesting things that we do.
Yeah.
Because it involves people. And I kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I've got to push myself to interact with people a bit more, which I don't really like doing, especially if they're like just on the street and I'm taking photos of them. It's not a comfortable position to be in, but I think it's quite an enjoyable thing to do once you get into the rhythm of it. Yeah,
definitely. I think we've also like kind of fallen into like the architectural, urban street photographer as well. And I was talking to someone at a photo walk the other week, and they were like asking me what kind of, like, what do I normally shoot? And I said, usually street. But I've kind of gone down this like architectural kind of route recently. But then I laughed and said, probably just because it's easier. Because like it doesn't require you to talk to anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like street photography, you know, initially is like the most accessible like type of photography. And then I guess if you remove the element of other people, then you're just left with architectural photography, and then that's probably is like the most the most accessible type of photography you can do, really, isn't it?
Yeah. What would you say the best lenses are for street photography?
Oh, this is definitely personal preference.
Yeah.
And if you've not tried a bunch, you cannot have an opinion.
Yeah.
And I have tried a bunch, and I don't know if I have an opinion.
So I think I have something I like at the moment.
Okay.
So I've shot with 28, 50, and 35 now.
Yeah, that's a pretty common range of street.
And my preference at the moment is 35.
Yeah,
because
brilliant.
I was like very much in the 50 camp, and then I bought the 35 from you. Yeah. And I'm like, this gives me like a little bit extra that I wouldn't really think about.
I really liked 35 on the FE.
This is what I'm shooting on.
Yeah, but then I've liked the 50 more on the F6.
Okay.
Obviously, with the F6, the focus is snappy, and so it kind of doesn't matter what focal length you've got. in terms like when it comes to focusing. So yeah, I don't know. Like I've got a 35 for the f6 and a 50 now, and I've shot both a bit. And yeah, I think I'm leaning towards the 50 now. But I was really diehard 35 for a little bit.
I think I swap
so it's
around
hard.
all the time.
So those two, like anyone who wants to get into street photography, you know, if your camera brand of choice has cheap 35mm and 50mm lenses, which they all usually do, get both.
Yeah.
You cannot go, and then and then you can go back and forth, and like they're always compact, so you can just keep the other one in your pocket. You know, like if you want to swap around. But if you had to ask me, like, what one are you going to leave on the camera, I really don't know. You know, I think I could get by with either. Like, it's not, you know. But I did find recently with shooting the 35 on the f6 that I was wanting to be closer, and I couldn't get that. So, but the 50's like just right, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
I can understand that.
But we've both shot the 50 for ages, so I think like you've had
me,
your first lens was a 50. I think.
Yeah.
So was mine on the FE.
Then I bought the 28. But I shot 50. That was my favourite. But I think maybe I'm on 35 now because it's like, oh, it's just a bit different.
It's in between.
Yeah.
It covers a lot. Like if you only wanted to take one lens out with you and you don't really know what you're going to be shooting, a 35 is so powerful.
Yeah.
It just picks up a lot. And I think the fact that our Fuji's X100Fs are 35mm equivalent, they're obviously crop sensor, but it works out to a 35mm. The fact that a fixed lens camera has a 35mm is kind of saying, you know, it's a good all-rounder.
So I wanted to, that's what I brought this up because in my book this month, which I'll go on to in a bit, he mentions that the 35 is like closest to the human eye.
Yeah, I've heard that.
50 is
I don't think 35 is like the human eye at all.
So that's what he would use for street photography.
Yeah, maybe field of view, but I don't think perspective it feels like 35. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, that's why I brought it out. Top locations for street photography that we've been in. Well, London obviously is the king.
Yeah, anywhere. I think anywhere busy. Really helps.
For me, like the busier the better. So like Piccadilly, you go unnoticed no matter what camera you've got. Yeah, and we'll talk about what cameras are best in a minute. But when it's really busy like that, no one pays you any attention. I think. No. So like, in Winchester, I think it's less busy, so there's more opportunity to sort of have a little chat
like
with a person.
Like one-to-one sort of thing rather than just a candid shot. Yeah,
so
I mean, we all, as street photographers, you all want the candid shot. Yeah. And you know when it's worth doing. That's like what I always find, you know, like if you're hesitating, it might just not be a good enough photo. But if you see something that is like unmissable, you cannot not shoot it. The whole fear of them turning around and going, "Oi," just disappears from your brain. Like your head will know when that's a good photo. Yeah. And if you're hesitating, it probably isn't. So maybe someone will quote that one day.
Put that on a t-shirt. Cool.
There is another quote that's like, if your photos aren't, it's something like, I don't even know who said it. Might be Gary. Is it Gary Winogrand?
Okay, yeah.
I always forget if it's Gary or Jerry.
I think it's Gary.
I'm pretty sure it's Gary.
If you're watching.
What if it's Jerry?
Is he dead?
No, he is dead. He's dead. He's not watching. I was saying, no, he's not watching. What are we talking about? He's not dead
and he's not watching.
Oh, I think he said...
If you know Gary, let him know. But if you know Jerry, let him know as well.
He's dead.
Is he dead?
Gary Winogrand's dead.
No way. That's why last week.
I think a famous quote from him was... if your photos aren't good enough, you're not close enough, or something like that.
Yeah, he died in 1984.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. He died before I was born.
It seems so recent, but it's not.
He's definitely not watching.
No.
Okay, sorry, you were saying. Quote from...
If your photos aren't good enough, you're not close enough. You're not getting close enough.
Okay. It's Gary.
It's Gary, yeah.
Not watching.
Did you hear the quote?
If you're not getting close enough...
No.
If you're not getting... What is it? Tell me the quote.
If your photos don't look good enough, you're not getting close enough.
Okay. Thanks, Gary.
Anyway, so that like feels similar to what I was saying, you know, like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Best times of day to shoot street photography?
Well, this will come into our
books
and the differences, because we've got two very different approaches to street photography. So yeah, these are two very different like approaches to street photography.
Yeah.
And I think lighting is probably less important in this style. Well, you don't want it to be like super dark.
I've read 2/3 of it, and he hasn't mentioned lighting yet.
That's interesting. Yeah. So this is like in this, it's pretty prominent.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, they're different approaches to what you would call street photography.
Cool.
So, but I think generally, like if you're shooting people, if people are the subject, like just kind of overcast is all right. Like not overcast, like just flat lighting, not too strong. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Especially if you're shooting.
Otherwise, it comes about the light.
Yeah, but it's not like that's okay. But I think it just makes it more difficult. And like street photography needs to be fast. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say like the easiest lighting to shoot is quite flat,
which luckily is what we have. I'd say 90% of the time in the UK. Yeah. Personal experiences about street photography. So I'd say like difficult. Have we had any difficult moments or any like really good moments with street photography? I think we've had a range of experiences. Like how would you go about getting?
Well, the good moments.
Approaching people as well would be a nice thing in this section.
Well, the good moments are getting your shots back and them being good. Yeah. And then also like when you actually have a nice interaction with someone. Yeah. But I would always say like initially the bad moments kind of stick out more. Do you know what I mean? I.e. people having to go at you. Like
you've had a few more of them than I have. Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Because I feel I act differently when I'm with you and when I'm not with you, or if we're on a photo walk or whatever. Right. You can act slightly differently.
Yeah, yeah.
So like if me and you are out
you're just
together,
confident. Like totally.
If me and you are out together, people can kind of see us.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's what's going on. But if it's just me, they're like, who the fuck's that guy?
I guess so.
So I would put myself out there a bit less. Whereas like we were in Winchester the other week, and like I had a little thing where I'd like look at the person and go, and they go yes or no, and then I would or wouldn't, or I'd just go up and chat to them, and I think that worked really well. And I had we had quite a few positive like interactions with people then. Yeah,
I guess it really depends how you want the shot to look, doesn't it?
But like I've had a few negative ones in Winchester as well, where like the woman at a market stall, she's like, why would you take a photo of that? You had one recently as well where there was someone crying, but you didn't realise they were crying.
No, obviously the person I took the photo of. Yeah, that was a heat. That was like what I was saying. You see a moment and you just do it, and you don't care if the person isn't happy with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know it's right. And but she was actually a nice person in the end. Like I caught her at a bad time.
So if you have like a negative interaction, I think we both have like the people skills to turn that around quite quickly.
Yeah, and well, like there are some situations like the guy in Oxford that I had, you can't turn that around. So you just have to stand there and take it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Let them fucking.
So this at the jewellery place where it's like don't take a picture.
Yeah.
And I had the guy in Andover chase after me. And it's like, what are you doing?
Oh,
and I was like, we're doing this.
But he wasn't super pissed off. He just wanted to know.
Yeah, he's like, don't post it.
Yeah,
here it is.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Yeah.
Something that comes up in this as well is about whether you should take people that are vulnerable or they have like disfigurements. So there's a photo of someone in here who had like a broken nose and like a nose cast on.
Yeah,
but he just said it's like all part of the colour of life and like
well, it's totally it's raw like documentary photography, isn't it? Like, and these types of things like this guy, a lot of his photos. No, not the guy on the cover, the photographer. A lot of his photos are kind of like have aged well. Do you know what I mean? Like at the time there weren't that many street photographers, so he was a standout person. But like. There's millions of street photographers now, and the reason people like that stand out is because it's from an era. And you need like sometimes you have to remember what we're shooting now could, in 50 years' time be like that was a period of time, and you are documenting a period in time. And some of these photos to him might have just seemed pretty trivial and basic, but to us now, like looking back, it's not nostalgic because we didn't live in that era, but it's just that's what makes it interesting, like the people in old cars and stuff like that.
Clothes are different. I think maybe I'm changing my mind about it a little bit, but you've taken photos of homeless people. There was a really good photo you took in London recently of someone asleep.
Yeah,
and
I
was
can put
like,
that in. Yeah,
bit out of order, mate. But like you were like, no, it's just part of it. Like
just someone sleeping outside a Pret.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was homeless though. He was just asleep in the chair.
Asleep. Yeah. And there was a guy under the bridge in Milton Keynes who was asleep.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of that one
as well.
Yeah, I think he was just waiting for a train.
Yeah,
no, he'd probably been kicked out or something. It's a bit sad. If you're going to go down the street portraits route, where you're kind of it's not as candid, and you are literally just like looking out for interesting looking people. Just ask them. That's all. Literally, just to be like, and all they will say is a no if they don't want you to.
You'll get a yes or a no.
And if it's a yes, then like they usually kind of like it, because.
I think if people have like made an effort to look a certain way, like if they've got a massive hat on, or like if they've got like a really big moustache.
Well, some people don't know why they are interested to a photographer, so I can understand why people would be like weirded out. But also, like, I think a lot of people don't think of it like this, but I wish they did. If a photographer has decided to ask to take your photo, like, it's because exactly. It's because you I don't know, stand out and they think you would make a good photo. But most people aren't. Obviously, most people don't have like. If you're not a photographer, you're not going to think like that anyway. So
it doesn't happen every day as well. Like I've never had anyone come up to me.
No,
because I look plain Jane, but
maybe you should start wearing a hat.
I wear a hat. We should get hats.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a video about. We'll go somewhere where there's like usually a lot of street photographers and try and dress like really audaciously.
We're fishing for street photographers.
Yeah.
Dress like pimps.
Yeah, and then we can tell them about it. Like,
gotcha.
Yeah, we gotcha.
I got one.
We got one.
What would you say the best cameras are for street photography?
Oh, there's going to be loads of good ones. I don't really think there is. Like, you can do it with anything, really, isn't it? Like,
so I was sort of
thinking. I think the Fuji's really good.
Yeah, thinking along. Yeah, that worked really well, didn't it? When we did that, I was thinking along the lines of like manual or more automatic ones, or TLRs and SLRs. I think there's positives, negatives for both of them.
Yeah, I don't think because if I pick a camera and say this is the best camera for street
it depends on your person.
There's going to be people that are saying no, this is really good. So it's whatever you get comfortable with, really, isn't it? Like I could probably go out and shoot street with the Rolly. Like I feel comfortable enough with that, and I feel like I could shoot that quick enough to do that. But like other people might not find that quick enough for them, and that's where cameras like the F6 come in.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking.
Quick, like, snappy. You can run off.
When we were in London at Piccadilly recently, I was on the Rolly and I was like, "This is like pretty hard work." So I've got to focus and read and do a light reading and do all the stuff.
Yeah.
And there's someone walking towards me that's quite interesting. I want to get a picture of them.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard work. But if you had like the F6, it's just like
bang
and it's done. You wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, and I think some people get caught up in like the snobbery of shooting manually and focusing manually, and it's like at the end of the day, it's the pictures that you end up with at the end that are gonna like make you feel good. Like, because I don't look at a crap photo from the Rolly and go, well, at least I shot it manually and I manual focus.
Yeah, never think that, do you? You just think it's about the photos.
Yeah, no one's going to comment on one of my crap Instagram photos saying, oh, I can tell you manually focus this. Well done.
What's going to get you the best result?
In
the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
But I think TLRs it's nice because like they're a bit inconspicuous, so you're not looking.
At
the person. So I think that's why I wanted to bring that out.
Yeah, I suppose that's a positive from the other side, isn't it? Not a usability positive, just
you blend in.
Like people don't really know what it is, do they? That's an interesting point though. Like, there is no set camera for street photography. It's really the techniques are so much more important. Like if you're shooting manually, there's techniques with range focusing and things that are way more important, and how you set up your camera to shoot street is more important than what camera you actually have.
Yeah.
Basically, just don't worry about what camera you've got. Like, just do it.
Always have a camera on you as well.
And don't put in your Instagram captions what camera you've shot it on.
Oh, I don't care.
Because people will look at that.
I never put that.
And then judge.
Yeah.
Based on what gear you have.
Well, I don't think we're snobs at all in terms of that.
No. I could definitely be seen as one because I've got quite a lot of gear. But I just like trying new things. Like, I like to hone my craft, so to speak.
Do you want to get to a point where you're using a camera and a film stock and that's all you...
Yeah, I'd love to be like that.
Yeah. So you only do like Portra 400s or whatever, like gold or whatever.
Well, because I do admire like our friend Charlie, who was on
Portra 160.
One of the first podcasts. Yeah, like I admire that he only shoots a point and shoot, doesn't think about lenses, doesn't really think about film. He kind of just shoots what he can get his hands on. Because he just cares about the photos,
Yeah.
People get so caught up. Photos. People get so caught up in the gear.
Yeah.
And it's worse in digital photography.
I think because of what we're doing on YouTube, we can't go, we're only doing this camera and
because we've got to make videos about stuff. Like,
But
that is fun. Like, I've always said, shooting cameras is fun. Like, regardless of what you're shooting, do you know what I mean? Like, operating a camera is fun. The Pentax, like, gives you a little
like the first time I heard
hit
that,
of dopamine. Yeah, and that's a very like male thing, isn't it? Like, not to pigeonhole photography into male.
Well, if you look at our YouTube viewer stats, like 2.8% of people that watch us are female.
But I would
Hi guys.
I would bet that like the majority of female photographers don't care about how the shutter sounds. Do you know what I mean? I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just sexist, but I think noises of like certain noises are just they trigger something in a man's brain.
Okay.
Like exhausts. Camera shutters. Yeah. What else is there? A weird one in BMX. We all like the sound of a hub. The ticking sound.
Yeah.
There was like a massive craze around that. I'm trying to think of other things.
I get those things. I'm not really into cars or BMXs, but I'm like, oh yeah, I can understand.
But you can see that is a male like driven thing, isn't it? Like,
I would enjoy that. Like if there's a certain sound or something, I'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure there'll be women in the comments who say they like exhausts as well. Like, obviously, there's going to be people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Let us know. Do you like sounds?
Yeah.
In the comments. Tell us what sounds you like.
What's your favourite sound?
That's such an Alan Partridge thing. Call in and tell us what's your favourite sound. Cool.
We've got Mark on the line. His favourite sound is mixing pasta.
Dave from Kent. A lawnmower.
Yeah, that would be one.
Yeah.
Like the choo-choo on a train.
Yeah.
Or just the chugging of a train.
The choo-choo on a train.
You know? The chugging of a train. That's definitely one.
The choo-choo on a train is amazing.
Yeah. On obviously a steam train.
A boat going.
Yeah, I guess so.
Fog on.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of more.
Welcome to our podcast. Favourite sounds.
There's definitely more.
We've gone off on a tangent here.
Yeah, anyway. Where were we?
What are we? Do we have like future plans for street photography? I think just keep trying out new cameras and new film stocks. And
I just want to get to more photo walks this year.
That'd be cool.
We've got our own one. We've got our own one, obviously, but I've started putting in like all the photo walks I can find into my calendar. Right. Whether I go to them or not, like it's just so I've got them and I can, decide if I want to go on the weekend. But yeah, I enjoy going to photo walks. And yeah, I'd like to go to some new places. Like London is just so addictive.
Oh yeah, I could be in London every day and I would never get bored. I could do it for years and never get bored. Yeah,
but I could also see how like street photography from outside of London, it could be more like appealing. Do you know what I mean? You're going to get the shots in London, but I don't know, there's a bit more of a grind in when you're like somewhere else, like in Winchester. You might walk around for an hour and just not get anything. And we literally did. I mean, we walked like the same circle 5 times. Like it took us a while to really get anything. So, it is difficult, but I'm sure we can find somewhere.
Should we talk about our photos of the month?
Oh, did you want to talk about the books?
We'll do books.
Because these are still on the street photography
we'll do books
thing. So these are our books. Do you want to hold your one up? No, not the same one. So, like I said, obviously both street photography based. Anyway.
So I bought this book at the weekend, and it's very easy read. There's some tips in there, but there's some really good photos as well. So this is why I thought we should talk about street photography, because I was like just rinsing through this book.
Yeah, and then when you said that, I was like, well, I've already shown this book on the podcast, but it just kind of goes well with that, because I think a lot of people think this is all there is. This is all there is to street photography. Do you know what I mean? Just like taking photos of people and not asking for permission, basically.
I think there's a few ways to ask for permission.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
But yeah, to see it like span geographically, I don't know, Craig Whitehead stuff does as well, but like time as well is really interesting. If you want to have a look, I've sort of flagged a few of the photos.
There's a line in this book, and I'll try and find it, about how his type of photography is using people as compositional elements. Yeah. Whereas they're using them as subjects.
Yes.
See what I mean?
I would agree with that from looking at this.
And I think ultimately they are the two like ends of the street photography spectrum. But this is this will, if you're already a street photographer, this will really change your perspective. And if you're not a photographer at all and you want to get into it, like this is a good start.
Yeah, like the people in his photographs are like anonymous, and you don't really see their faces very often, or they're like masked or obscured by something.
Think about when and where to go, but whatever you do, just go. That's a good one. All you need is a camera, but one that you know inside out and back to front. So going back to the question of what's the best camera for street photography, it's one of them, one that you know inside out and back to front, because it's all about being able to use your camera quickly. Because like, even though these shots don't have people as the subject, the timing on some of them is like crucial.
So those are our books recommendations. I recommend both of them. I've read 2/3 of this one and all of that one. So it's How I Make Photographs by Joel Meyerowitz. And Find Your...
I don't know if he sounded like that.
Terrible.
Or if anyone said his name.
Find Your Frame by Craig
both
Whitehead.
got it.
Very good.
Craig Whitehead is also really good.
Bloody good books. Right. Photos of the month, Ben.
Okay.
So my 3 is Man in Yellow Hat.
Man in Yellow Hat.
So the only thing I wish I did differently about this was use a different film stock.
Okay.
Because I think Candido 800 probably wasn't best for that.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I wish it had a bit of a cleaner one, less grainy one. But like we saw these people with yellow hats with blue bobbles on when we're coming out of the XL.
Unshootable.
And this guy just sort of turned to me smiling and did the peace sign. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. I'll put the other one up as well with the group, but this one is definitely better, I think, because he was engaging with me on a personal level. So yeah, I like it. It's nice. Just hurry the fuck up, Ben.
Sorry, right, okay. I'm going to say this is my honourable mention.
Yeah. Is this a Barbican?
Yeah. I just kind of like the framing.
Was the van moving or...
Yeah, the van... Oh, maybe there was lights there. It might have just stopped there. But I kind of like how she's like pointing the same direction as the sign. Yeah. You know, and
that's nice.
Yeah, I just like how the concrete like is framed.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I don't know, just like when I saw that...
The lines are nice in that, aren't they?
Yeah.
The bridge going over the...
That's what I mean. When I saw that, I was like, that's just really satisfying lines and angles, you know. Okay, let's do this one as my 3. This was in Camden.
Oh, nice.
And I just...
Mannequins.
Yeah, but isn't there just an uncomfortable amount of them in a tight space? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I kind of looked in there and I was like, that feels wrong.
That's horrible.
So I snapped it.
They're quite freaky looking as well.
Yeah.
And wearing weird clothes.
And they're too close together. Like, you can't have that many.
Really, like the ones on the right especially are wearing weird clothes.
Yeah. And it was kind of like gave me like the uncanny valley thing. Yeah. You know, like too many fake human things. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why. Like, maybe that could have been my honorable mention, but I think the last one was better than that. But
I like that. I like both of them. Yeah, my number 2 is Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. I like this because I like a neon sign.
That's a very Craig Whitehead looking shot, with the
I've always liked this sign as well, but this was handheld on the Canon.
Yeah, it's a good job.
Just as we're sort of late at night. So this will be coming up in next week's video.
Yeah.
But yeah, we waited for those people to walk across. They're like bang in the middle, and I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, you caught them in a good lit spot there, like all that silhouettes them. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Quite happy with that.
Nice colours as well.
Yeah. So that was Candido 800.
Yeah, so like Sinister on it.
So
we'll choose this one.
Nice. That's Winchester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Is that with me?
No. I was on my own actually.
Yeah.
I think I liked it because he like really well matches that paint really well, and then I thought like he kind of matches the sky, but maybe if I like pumped up the blues in the sky a bit, it would match a bit better. But I just initially I think I shot it because it was just kind of an easy shot, but then actually like looking back on it, I was like, oh, the colours in this kind of like match up quite nicely.
What was that on as well?
Probably Portrait 400.
My number one, Portrait 160.
Oh yeah, this is so good.
So this is
love that.
I went to visit my aunt.
What's the context of this shot?
She was showing me around
why is she dressed like that?
Because she's a Chelsea pensioner.
Well, I don't know what that is.
So it's like old people that are in the army,
right,
and then retire.
Yeah.
And then you've got no family or like no one to look after, you can
Yeah.
become a Chelsea pensioner. So it's basically like an army old folks home.
Okay.
But you have to dress like that. So they give you like a little room, you pay like a small amount a month.
Right.
So it's like people that are retired from the army can live there if they've got no other family.
Okay. Never heard of that.
Never heard of it.
Why do they have to dress like that?
It's just tradition, isn't it? But yeah, so she was showing me around the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, the barracks.
That's a great shot.
And she was dressed in all the gear.
Yeah.
And I took that photo. I took a few others as well. But yeah, it was a good day. But yeah, it's a good photo as well. And I think it's a very striking uniform as well, isn't it?
Well, the colour, all the colour, the sky, the blue sky and the red uniform, like, complement.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good film choice as well, I think.
What was it?
Portrait 160.
Oh, yeah. I saw your closer up one of her, like, looks so good on 160.
What's your Juan?
It's this guy in Chinatown praying or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. But I was like, well, he's got his eyes shut. I'm going to walk straight up to him and take a photo.
That's lovely, that, yeah.
So, yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know if it is actually a good photo.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's not something you see very often, so I think that's what makes it really striking.
Yeah, maybe. I kind of like how like centered it is, you know. I mean, that's easy, like to center it, but I don't know. I like that it's really face on centered.
Yeah.
This one.
Okay, so your other photo that you weren't sure on showing was of a woman.
Yeah, there's not really much to say about it, like in terms of why I took it. I just her daughter. I assume her daughter was crying. I don't know what about. I obviously didn't want to ask that. So the woman looking at me, who I assume is the mum, I don't know. She just had a look on her face that was like striking.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was like passionate. You know, she was like obviously trying to, I don't know, calm her daughter down or something like that, or. You know, I just wanted to take it.
And then she obviously questioned why you took a photo, but you talked her around after.
Yeah.
Discussing
but like,
it.
she looks right at me.
Yeah.
And like.
I think it's really striking.
She looks really good, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's really striking. And the fact that you can see like the brother, I assume, behind.
Yeah.
And then the single tear on the girl's cheek.
I hope she does email me, because I think she'll like it, even though like it was a weird moment. Like, she looks good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's good. It's a great photo.
There's no other way I can explain
photo.
it. Like, yeah. She kind of looks like nonchalant, even though it totally wouldn't have been.
It's a single moment.
It wouldn't have been a nonchalant moment like for her. But yeah, so.
I think she's struck between looking after her daughter and what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, because she'd already clocked me. She clocked me before I snapped the photo because she's looking at me. So
good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes they're the best ones, isn't it, when people look at you, and but then you have to deal with the aftermath, whether that happens or not. But, yeah.
Nice. Cool.
So
That'll do.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment if you're able. And we'll see you next time for more sexy and exciting adventures on film.
Don't forget to buy a print from either me or Mark. And we've got a photo walk.
As well.
On the 5th of July. Still a couple spaces left if you want to join.
Cool.
Cheers. Am I out of the shot, do you reckon?
Yeah.